I love OKC. I think Shai is unbelievable to watch. There's just something about their team. They look so beatable. And I know they're so deep. And I keep saying this to everyone. Shai is definitely an MVP candidate. That what he did versus the Pistons the other night. First off, I don't want to hear Millie Beasley ever talk about defense again. I saw him slipping and sliding all over the place yesterday. I thought he had water on the bottom of his shoes.
What do you think about JB Bickerstaff's rant though after the game? Did you like that? I mean, it was obviously like,
well, listen,
your coach kind of sticking up for you guys.
I love Bickerstaff having passion and fire and doing those different things. Obviously, he was frustrated. There's 5 techs called in the third quarter. That can already arise and make a coach frustrated. Then, you're not getting some calls at the end of the game. Shai's getting a lot of them, whatever the case may be. It happens. He was frustrated. He wants more respect for his team. I think Bickerstaff did everything right from the aspect of if you're a fan of the Pistons, that's what you want to see. If you're a player for the Pistons, that's what you want to see. You want to see your coach fighting for your team like that. With that being said, to earn respect, you have to go out there and get it. They are starting to do that right now, and it helps when your coach is out here demanding it. Them going to the playoffs and doing some stuff will only further benefit them in the long run to where maybe next year they'll start to get these calls. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, that you should have to earn your way to be getting a fair whistle. That's a whole different conversation. But I love that he fought for his team. I don't have a problem with it. He'll get fined, but he knew he was going to do that, and he did that for the team. Every fan and every player in that locker room feels like they got the guy that they want there. It only shows unison. It only helps. And to his point, yeah, he's like, yo, bro, we play harder than everybody. We've came under the radar. No one's giving us credit. No one really talks about us. And we have fought tooth and nail now to be a playoff team in the NBA. And the stain of the Pistons is so heavy that we still get treated like it, even though we're not the Pistons of old, right? The Pistons are like the Wizards. Been a poverty franchise for quite some time. Now we're winning games. We got some dogs in here. We're competing. New coach, new this, new front office. We've changed everything around. We're competing, playing well, and we're going to the playoffs, but y'all still treating us like we're the Pistons of 2-3 years ago. So eventually a coach is going to be like, enough's enough. And he took a stand, and that's beautiful to see. For his words to be valid, they got to continue to do what they're doing, and he will get that treatment that he does deserve and that team deserves.
Not the only coach that's complained about Shai, though, getting calls.
No, I mean, there's been listen, we just talked about Minnesota. Finch has said stuff. Malone has said stuff. There's been a plethora of coaches who have come out and talked about, like, yo, the defense of Shai guarding him, what's going on right now, it's getting a little – it's hard for me to say.
Because of this, I get what you're saying. I know what you're about to say. You don't want to take away anything from Shai. That's the thing. Because if you want to say, yeah, he gets a unfair whistle, I don't want to take away anything from what he's. When I watch him, I'm like, bro, this guy's
correct. I don't want to take anything from Shai either.
Yeah.
Also, it feels so easy. Every player would bait fouls like the way he does. There's a skill to drawing fouls. It's part of the game. James Harden did it for the longest time. Kevin Durant did it, but they changed rules. So that's why I think some of these coaches are like, yo, y'all change rules for every other player who got away with this. James was doing the stuff where he used to drive and go into people.
Yeah.
They took that out of the NBA. They took a lot of that out. Trae Young used to do the thing where he'd come off the screen and stop in the air and shoot while he's in. They took that out.
Jalen Brunson has been,
He does it with the mid-range a lot of times. But
right.
yes, they were taking, Trae was getting 3 free throws like every other possession. They cut that out. Kevin Durant used to do the thing where he'd wait for a guy to put his hand in, and he would do the rip-through thing, and they'd give him shots. The NBA changed that and said, you can still get the foul, but you got to take it out from out of bounds. You're not getting shots anymore for it. So they've penalized every other player who, and you notice the guys I'm naming. These are all high IQ'd scoring machines who have figured out ways to rig the system. I don't even like saying rig the system, but that's what it is. Draw fouls.
If you're good enough to change rules in the NBA, then that's good.
So they've changed rules for all these other scorers. I would imagine at some point they're going to start looking at this film. I'm not going to do it now in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year. At some point, I would imagine 2 things are going to happen here for this Shai thing. I'm dead ass serious too. I'm calling it now so they can come back and look at this clip. 2 things are going to happen. Either A, they're going to continue to let the season go on how it is. He does what he does. This summer will be a conversation of watching him and breaking down what he's doing and to get all these fouls and like how they're going to call it differently. That's option A. Option B is they're going to let it slide again until the playoffs comes, and they're going to allow people to be more physical with him to where he's not getting all of these calls, and it's going to be a rude awakening. He's going to still do his thing, but a part of him just getting away with that team, the OKC just getting away with all these foul calls, it's not going to be like that.
Did you hear KD yesterday to Luka during the game? They had him mic'd, and he said,
you're not going to get that call in the playoffs.
Yeah.
A lot of these calls that OKC's getting right now, they will not get in the playoffs. and they're going to be looking around like, what's going on with the you guys have gotten away with this all season long. You guys have been winning games because of it. In the playoffs, it's going to get a little physical, and these refs are going to be like, man, get up. I'm not calling that. And it's going to get weird. And then this starts happening when they throw the hand. Now your team's fucked. You're not even focused on winning anymore. Y'all fighting against the refs, not the other team. That's what happens. It happened to our Clippers team a lot of times. We had a team that was known for complaining. Chris, me, Blake, JJ, Jamal, we all complained. Matt Barnes, we all complained way too much. In the regular season, we were getting calls. Everything was working. We got in the playoffs. Shit started getting called. Next thing you know, it was a complain-a-thon. The whole game was us screaming at refs to the point where people hated us. This has happened to Luka quite a bit. People talk about Luka's foul calling. They didn't call shit versus Boston. He was going in there flailing. The refs were just like, and it got weird for him. So,
and that's a good point you make. Where then you start focusing on not getting the call.
Then now you're doing this and you're waving. You're like, oh, they're not, bro. You're not even getting back on defense. You're not even playing. You're not even talking to your teammate. You're not even exactly. You're not engaged because you're fighting the wrong opponent. You're fighting the refs instead of the team. This is what happens, and it's contagious. The best player complains, and then this player complains, and then the coach feels he has to stick up for his player, so he starts complaining to the refs. So now you got the coach and your best player. So your two leaders on the team are not complaining to the refs. Follow suit. What do you think everyone else is going to do? It's nasty. So that's the two things that are going to happen with this OKC situation, because the fouling thing has been a thing all year for them, especially Shai. And again, I'm not complaining. I love watching him play. The plays he made versus Detroit the other night, the way he had Tim Hardaway Jr. and Beasley slipping and sliding all over the court like they were in a goddamn background scene. Was it heavyweights with Lars and they're sliding on the damn, what's the heavyweight scene when they're all out there on the grass sliding on the, you know what I'm talking about? That's what it looked like. I mean, they would just skirt. He had like 4 pullbacks where they just kept running the other direction. He's an unbelievable talent. So let's not take anything away from Shai.
Well, also, you're naming older guys to the NBA. Like, it's harder to get the breaks going.
Listen, I saw him do it on Thompson 4 or 5 times too. Yeah. Just pump fake fade away. He had a Euro step one time. He got past Tim, did a Euro step. The big was still holding his thought he was going to take a charge. He opened his eyes. They're already getting back on defense. It was insane. Like, he's the most dynamic offensive guard in the NBA right now, and it's not close. Yeah. It's not close.
And he's going to win MVP. So
yeah, and he's on his way to win it. And I know we made an argument for Nikola, which is completely valid, but Shai is going to win MVP. Yeah. And you can't say he's not deserving of it. The argument was Jokic is well deserving of it as well. It's never been that Shai can't and shouldn't win. Every time we talk about this, he has another 40-point game. He had 48 the other night. He had 40. Last night they beat the shit out of the Bucks. They're rolling. He's rolling. He's winning MVP, and it's deserved. But the fouling thing, listen.
I've been told by NBA players that after All-Star break, the whistle gets a little.
It does. Yeah. It does. They start to
prepping for the playoffs. Maybe?
They start to prep you almost. It's like a known thing that they'll call it. The refs are just like, we're gonna start just a little bit holding it back a little bit. You could tell. You'll go to the lane, you'll be like, and you'll look at the ref, and he's like. You're just like, what's going on, man? There's a foul. Like, nah, not anymore. Especially if you're not a star. I'd go to the lane and get smacked and look at the refs. He'd be like, man, if you don't get your ass back on defense, I'd be like, it ain't happening. So, like, Shai also gets the whistle because, like, he's Shai Alexander, bro. He's the best guard in the NBA. He's headed to get an MVP. When he goes to the lane and drives and yells, is it different from Lou Dort doing it? Of course. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just the natural. That's even human instinct as a ref. You'd be like, LeBron James goes and yells at you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they are human. They're not supposed to. These aren't supposed to play a part. But to Bickerstaff and Finch and a lot of these guys, like, this stuff with Shai is getting a little out of hand. All right. In the past, when we've had stars do this, we've handled it. So people are wondering what's going to happen here. Yeah. And in the playoffs, are y'all going to keep giving OKC this whistle? Because if not, it's going to change things. It's going to make it a little bit interesting. Again, I love OKC's team, just to circle back. I do feel like they're just vulnerable in ways. I don't know what it is about them.
And you watched the game against the Bucks last night where they won it
They
easily.
were fantastic.
Yeah.
They're just great.
There's the problem is something that you can't figure it out.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There's something about that team where, and again, if they go all the way and win it, then it's like, oh, okay, so they were real. And I'm not going to say I was wrong because it's not like I say they're going to lose. There's just something there that I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If they win, I wouldn't be surprised either. They've had the best team all year, along with Cleveland, Boston, and they had the MVP. They have a lot of young talent. I will say this: if they win this year,
With all their picks in the future.
And with all and how young they are, good God. Now we have a dynasty.